friends. Just getting everything set up here. I sent the husband away, so hopefully he will not be making the dogs bark or be inviting them to be naughty. I've got our book for the evening, which is more scary stories to tell in the dark. I have upgraded my bookmarks to these cards because I am an adult. And I've got my Beetlejuice bong from the Awa Shack, AWA Shack in Seminole. One of my best friends, Christy, runs the place. She's amazing. She does a great job. She always goes above and beyond for her customers. It's a bit of a drive from Oklahoma City, but it is worth it. And you should definitely head out that way for a little small day road trip. It takes about an hour to get there from Oklahoma City, but it's worth going. It's a cute little town, and her place is worth the drive. So that's the Awa Shack. I am not a sponsored person for her place, but I just believe in her that much. So let's get going. If you guys have your tokes, go ahead and hit that shit. I picked 3 stories for us tonight, and this is just a fun little night. I want to take time during the week to just decompress and help us kind of like, rest and let some of the tension go midway through the week. This is also one of the ways that I give tribute to Odin is through speaking, and this is just a fun, easy way to give that tribute back to my primary deity, in a way that is also sharing that with my community. So no reason to, there's no lessons, there's no need to be super alert or attentive. Just sit back and relax. Let me read you a couple of stories, have a good time, get a little lit, and then enjoy the rest of your evening with the knowledge that you have been caressed by my lovely storytelling voice or something like that. Your ears have been gently patted by the rhythmic sounds of my nasally voice. Or I don't know if it's nasally. Nobody ever really tells me if I have a nice voice or not, so I don't know, but I think it's okay. So, alright. Okay, and while we're just kind of like sitting here waiting to get started or waiting on other people to join us if they're going to, or just sitting here in general, let me pull this guy down. Here we go. I only have 4 of our little guys left. I have the yellow orb. They're not guys, they're ethereal creatures. They don't have a gender. They're whatever they want to be at any given time. I have the little green orb. I've got a little green cookie ghost still. And our little wee squeaks. And they are like I said, they're of the borrower family. So they just kind of have like random stuff that they collect. This guy carries around this ring. He's kind of a macho wee squeak, so he likes to, he's like, bro, do you even lift? I also have all these pumpkins left, but if you purchase one of these little guys for $25, you get one of these for free. Like, I'll just send you one. These I was selling for $20, but it's way more advantageous to buy one of these guys and get one of these for free. So no pressure. Like I said, this isn't meant to be about that. It's just while I'm on camera, here they are. And you can go there. Alright. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first story that I picked for us is called The Little Black Dog. And this is the terrifying ass picture. Like I said before, the books were never that scary to me. The stories are not that scary. It's these fucking drawings that gave me nightmares. Like, what is this? I hate it. it's like mesmerizing. Like I want to look at it for a long time, but it also makes me want to crap my pants. So, all right, let's get started. The little black dog. Billy Mansfield said that a little black dog followed him wherever he went, but he was the only one who saw it. So people thought he was kind of crazy. To drive the dog away, Billy was always hollering at it, throwing rocks at it, but the dog would always come back. The first time Billy saw the dog was the day he fought Silas Burton. Billy was just a young man then, but the Burtons and Billy's family had been feuding for years. When Billy saw Silas riding toward him, he went for his gun, and Burton went for his, but Billy fired first. He hit Burton in the back, knocking him from his horse. Burton's horse ran off, and his gun fell where he couldn't reach it. He lay there on the ground pleading with Billy not to kill him, but Billy killed him anyway. Burton's little black dog was with him when he shot. The dog kept licking Burton's face and barking and snarling at Billy in his anger. Billy killed the dog too. What a jerk. There wasn't much law enforcement in those days, so Billy wasn't arrested. But all that night he heard Burton's dog outside his cabin, scratching on his door and barking to be let in. I'm imagining this, Billy said to himself. I shot that dog. It's dead. But the next morning, Billy saw the dog. It was waiting for him outside. From then on, there was not a day when he didn't see it, and there wasn't a night when he didn't hear it scratching on his door, barking to be let in. From then on, Billy was always finding black dog hairs on the sofa, on the floor, in his bed, even in his food. And the house and his yard stank of dog. That's what Billy would say anyway. Whenever somebody told him there wasn't any dog to see, he'd say, maybe you don't see it, but I do. And I'm not any crazier than you are. Things went on like that for many years. Then one morning in the middle of the winter, the neighbors didn't see any smoke coming out of Billy's chimney. When they went over to check, Billy wasn't there. A day or so later, they found his body lying in the snow in a field in the back of his cabin. Billy had plenty of enemies, and at first it seemed like somebody might have killed him. But there wasn't a mark on his body, and there weren't any footprints there except for Billy's. The doctor said Billy probably died of old age, but there was something odd about his death. When the neighbors found Billy, there were black dog hairs on his clothes. There were even a few on his face. It smelled like a dog had been there, yet no one had seen a dog anywhere. Ooh, ghost dog. Fun fact, I used to have a dog. One could argue imaginary friend, but it wasn't an imaginary friend. Just like Billy, only I didn't kill anybody that I'm aware of. I was a kid. I was like 3 or 4, and I would tell my nana that the dog lived outside because she was allergic to dogs. So even the imaginary dog couldn't come in her house. She used to babysit me, so she would make it extra food and set the extra food outside so that it would be happy outside. And then I matured into the lovely pagan that I am now, and I'm not so sure that I wasn't kind of expressing that at that time, and just nobody was really aware of it, even myself. But yeah, we would give tributes to my imaginary black dog friend. It was kind of like a little Labrador. These dogs, every time I get on them, I'm gonna have to just like put them. Nothing. I'm not gonna do it. I talk shit, but I'm not gonna do anything. Okay, our next story, but I'm not gonna start it yet. I'm gonna take another rip. Is The Bride, and let me do this real quick. How are y'all's evenings going? What's going on? This is me making small talk. See how not great at it I am. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I hope that like hearing bongs is not like against their community standards. I know they're really strict on a lot of things, so that'll suck. Okay, story number 2, The Bride. And I don't know if you saw that picture, so look at how spooky. Okay, here we go. The Bride. The minister's daughter had just gotten married. After the wedding ceremony, there was a great feast with music and dancing and contests and games, even old children's games. When they got to playing hide and seek, the bride decided to hide in her grandfather's trunk up in the attic. They'll never find me there, she thought. As she was climbing into the trunk, the lid came down and cracked her on the head, and she fell unconscious inside. The lid slammed shut and locked. No one will ever know how long she called for help or how hard she struggled to free herself from that tomb. Everyone in the village searched for her, and they looked almost everywhere. But no one thought of looking in the trunk. After a week, her brand new bridegroom and all others gave her up for lost. Shit, it only took a week. Years later, a maid went up into the attic looking for something she needed. Maybe it's in the trunk, she thought. She opened it and screamed. There lay the missing bride in her wedding dress. But by then, she was only a skeleton. That sucks. What a shitty way to go. They forgot about her after a week? They're like, screw this. We have other things. We have corn to shuck. Terrible. Okay, our last story is the drum. And I want to tell you, there's always like stuff, language is always evolving, and us becoming aware of certain things is always evolving. In this story, they do use that word, which I know is a slur, so I won't be saying that word, but I just wanted to say it out loud. First of all, I'm high, and second of all, sometimes I get going in the story and I forget about skipping or saying words differently. So I'm going to replace that word with the traveler, but if it slips out, which I don't think it will, but if it slips out, just know that it's not intentional. I am trying to be consciously aware of not using that word because it is a slur against, it's actually a slur against Egyptian people. It's not even a slur against the Romani. Can you believe that? I mean, obviously you can believe that. It is a slur against the Romani, but it was created as a slur against Egyptian people. So, I'm not going to use it. Here we go. This is the drum, and like I said, there's pictures here. Lovely, creepy ink pictures. Okay, you guys ready? It's gonna be creepy. You better hold on to your butts. It's gonna be super, super scary. Once there were two sisters. Dolores was 7 and Sandra was 5. They lived in a small house in the country with their mother and their baby brother, Arthur. Their father was a seaman and was away on a long voyage. One day, Dolores and Sandra were running across the field near their house when they met a traveler girl, playing a drum. Her family was camping in the field for a few days. As the girl played, a little mechanical man and woman came out of the drum and danced. Dolores and Sandra had never seen such a drum, and they begged the girl to give it to them. She looked at them and laughed. "I will give it to you," she said, "but only if you are really bad. Come back tomorrow and tell me how bad you were, and I'll see." As soon as the two sisters got home, they started shouting, which was against the rules in their house. And they wrote all over the walls with their crayons. At supper, they spilled their food, and when it was time for bed, they wouldn't even go. They did everything they could think of to upset their mother. They were really bad. Early the next morning, they hurried off to find the little traveling girl. "We were really, really bad yesterday," they told her, "so please give us that drum." But when they told her what they had done, the little traveling girl laughed. "Oh, you must be much worse than that if I'm to give you this drum," she said. As soon as Dolores and Sandra got home, they pulled up all the flowers in the garden. They let the pig out and chased it away. They tore all their clothes. They sloshed in the mud. They were a lot worse than the day before. "If you do not stop," their mother said, "I will go away and take Arthur with me, and you will get a new mother with glass eyes and a wooden tail." Well, that scared Dolores and Sandra. They loved their mother, and they loved Arthur. They could not imagine being without them, and they began to cry. "I don't want to leave you," their mother said, "but unless you change your behavior, I will have to leave you." "We'll be good," the girls promised. Yet they did not really believe that their mother would go away. "She's just trying to scare us," Dolores said. We'll get the drum tomorrow, said Sandra. Then we'll be good again. Early the next morning, they rushed off to find the little traveling girl. When they found her, she was playing the drum again, and the little man and woman were dancing. They told the girl how bad they had been the day before. That must be bad enough to get the drum, they said. Oh no, said the little girl. You must be much worse than that. But we promised our mother to be good from now on, said the girls. If you really want the drum, said the little girl, you must be much worse. It's only for one more day, Dolores told Sandra. Then we'll get the drum. I hope you're right, Sandra said. As soon as they got home, they beat the dog with a stick. Fuck these girls. What the shit? I haven't read these in a long time. They beat the girl with a stick. They broke the dishes. They tore their clothes to pieces. They spanked their baby brother, Arthur. Their mother began to cry. You are not keeping your promise, she said. We'll be good, said Dolores. We promise, said Sandra. I can't wait much longer, said their mother. Please try. Early the next morning, before their mother was awake, Dolores and Sandra ran to see the little traveling girl. They told her all about the bad things they had done the day before. We were horrid, said Sandra. We were worse than we have ever been, said Dolores. Can we have the drum now, please? No, said the little traveling girl. I never meant to give it to you. It was just a game we were playing. I thought you knew that. Dolores and Sandra began to cry. They rushed home as quickly as they could, but their mother and Arthur were gone. They're out shopping, said Dolores. They'll be back soon. But they were still not back when it came time for lunch. Dolores and Sandra felt lonely and scared. They wandered through the fields the rest of the day. Maybe they will come home when we get back, said Dolores. When they got home, they saw through the window that the lamps were lit, and there was a fire in the fireplace. But they did not see their mother and Arthur. Instead, there was their new mother, her glass eyes glistening, her wooden tail thumping on the floor. And that's a lesson in listening to your mom and being good and not messing with little traveling girls in the fields. That is the lesson. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know why the mom had glass eyes and a tail, but that's pretty cool. So that's it. That's story time. Let me know if you enjoyed this. I think it's a lot of fun, and I just get to get fucking ripped and hang out with you guys, so that's always a good time. And I sent my husband away, so now officially, Ryan, you may return back to Casa de your house. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for coming. Have a good evening.